Everyone. Today we're going to talk about setting some meeting options. So meeting options in Teams. So we're going to take a look at how to set some of those meeting options in Teams. So I'm going to go ahead and move over here just for a moment. Okay, so we've got our meeting scheduled. It's a meeting with the board. We've got our guests, our date and time is all figured out. As I mentioned in the short, you want to make sure that you record your meetings in channels. And that is important because you want to be able to have access to that meeting regardless of where it's stored. So if it's stored in a channel, everybody who's in the channel will have access to that meeting rather than saving it, say, for example, on your personal OneDrive. If you leave the company or leave the department, now that meeting is not available. All right, so let's jump into it. We're going to take a look at some of the options over here. So in this short, I mentioned about who can bypass the lobby. And I think it's important that you only have organizers and co-organizers. So sometimes this changes. You may want everyone to be able to bypass the lobby, but what that means is that say you're running late to the Teams meeting, people will already be in there and there may not be anything on the screen for them to watch. So I always make it so that it's only organizers and co-organizers. Also, we talked about recording and transcribing automatically. And if you turn that feature on, as soon as your meeting starts, it will automatically record. You won't have to remember to do that. So I'm going to take a look at the more options over here. So we've got our security options, which we already talked about, other things you can turn off and on, who you want to be able to admit people from the lobby, and you may also decide who you would like to have microphones and cameras. So I normally keep both of these features on. So taking a look over here on the left with our audio and video engagement, I normally keep Q&A on, allowing reactions and allowing attendance reports. So Q&A is useful, especially if you're having somebody watch for you kind of what's going on as far as questions and comments. They can answer the questions or you can look at the questions and it keeps a nice record of that. Same thing with reactions, that allows people to participate. Attendance report is great because you don't have to remember who was at the meeting. You can have an attendance report automatically generated. This part right here, the roles announcing when people dialing in, join, or leave. So I normally turn that feature off because if somebody is calling in, I don't want it to ding. I don't want it to interrupt as we are doing our meeting. Let's take a look at the engagement next. So these, again, are some other features here. Co-organizers. So depending on who is invited to your meeting, you can make the guests your co-organizer, or as people join the meeting, you can choose a co-organizer. Who can present? Generally, I let everyone present. You can have language interpretation turned on as well. Taking a little bit closer look at the roles, recording and transcribing, we already talked about. And again, I turned this feature off right here. Now, Copilot is the AI feature, so you can allow that to be turned off or on. And finally, that's just the end piece of that, the recording and the transcript. So I'm going to go ahead and press save on that. The last two things I want to take a look at today are your response options right up here. So by default, you can request responses. So people do need to respond to your meeting request. You can also allow forwarding. You can turn those two features off. And with regards to registration, it's normally turned off so that people don't have to register. They just answer yes or no. If it is a webinar, you may wish to require registration so you know exactly how many people are coming. So I'm going to keep that at none, and I'm going to go ahead and send this meeting off right now. And that is how you set some meeting options in Teams. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.